Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. This is Neil with Portal to Ascension. Thank you all so much for joining me right now. And I just wanted to go live. This isn't pre-recorded. This is just straight live right now. And there's so much going on in the world that my head is literally like just exploding with information that I just need to talk to people about. And right now, of course, I do events. We do a lot of events and get the opportunity to speak to people about the specific topics within those events. But there's a lot happening right now in regards to disclosure. And I just wanted to talk about it, just emotions. So today's event is actually entitled 2012 Thus Far, Events, Emotions, Monoliths, and Disclosure. And how's it going, Kid Cody 1111? And we got some people joining us in the YouTube room. So hello to everybody. Sorry that my sound didn't work a little earlier. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out actually with my first ever produced song that is a recorded track of myself, hip hop song on consciousness. And I just got it mastered a couple of days ago. So while we're waiting for everybody to join in, I'm going to go ahead and play that. And we got Aaron in the house. What's up, Aaron? Haven't spoke to you in a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and play that right now, and then we're going to get into some information here. And this is going to be like a plethora of my brain. You're going to just see my brain splattered on the screen right here, because not only are we going to talk about a range of things, but at the end of it all, I'm actually going to do a little mini presentation on sound frequency and ancient civilizations, because tomorrow we're doing a free sound healing conference, and I'm going to do that there. So I'm going to do a little plug for that by showing you that presentation. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and play this song. Let me know what you guys think. This isn't that there, so I'm going to do a little hearing that, showing you that the first people hearing this song. For now, I'm going to go ahead and play this song. I'm going to go ahead and play this song. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think. By the first people by showing you that first station. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and play this song. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think. This is for you.
Yeah. Each day was a struggle, trying to juggle my higher and lower self without assistance, no help. I lost soul, just a kid in this.
Yo, this is what happens when we go live, right? So hold on one second. I gotta stop my other audio. All right, let's try this again right now. All right, so introducing my first ever fully produced, mastered hip hop track on consciousness and MC Resonance. So we're gonna start out with this and wait for more people to join us, because we do have people joining in, and I have some really amazing information that I want to go over today. So here we go.
This is for you. Yeah. Each day was a struggle, trying to juggle my higher and lower self without assistance, no help. I lost soul, just a kid in this world who needed didn't belong. I came from another planet, another home. My home was all I ever wanted. Looking for it in the friends I loved. I confronted fears that were ingrained in my soul from a childhood when I didn't know how to say no. My trust in those were violated. It took decades before I owned that it wasn't my fault. That it wasn't my fault. That it wasn't my fault. I didn't know better, had no direction, felt disconnected, could melt and vanish. No one would miss this misfit. I wish this life started different until I shifted the imprisonment of my own brain. I was a slave to the belief systems and imprints, so I went on search for the root of all religion to see why we were dismissed kids by the gods above. On the search for pure, unconditional love, travel the depths of space with the books and videos that made me realize humanity's soul was so deep. Began researching Earth's true ancient history and spirituality minus the organized piety. They got MCs worshipping from their knees. The poetry began to flow from me from a place I never seen this time around. Began freestyling from the underground, exploring concepts that were profound, existential, the vibration of sound, heal fraction of my soul. Plant medicine, it took me to another world. Help me release the density and tension in this world. My free energy is what I envision for all. I became the portal to ascension. The cosmic henchman came here because I heard the cosmic call. motivation and patience creates this balance in this wasteland of nuclear pollution. My observation of creation is that we're all heading for the same destination. Millennia of intergalactic wars can't stop the frequency that we're in store for. So I spit from my core, from my lost fragmented soul, reclaiming pieces that I've left in this world. They carry in front of me the elusive pearl. I remember I came here before. Just one MC, energetically emanating empathy, connection to the fire within me where it became pure energy. An allergy towards this world of anarchy. Amnesia in this fallacy, anesthesia to numb out the insanity, overstimulation leading to apathy. Speak out against the status quo, accusations of blasphemy. The gravity of this third dimensional reality eventually causing atrophy, a physical and emotional bankruptcy. So travel the galaxy to release all the agony, rearrange the anatomy to avoid the catastrophe, achieve cosmic morality. Time to embrace the dualities, the only analogy that supersedes all we need, just so that we can let go and breathe. It's simple. We just let go and breathe.
All right, I'm back. Welcome everybody joining in right now. Again, this is Neil with Portal to Ascension, and you just listened to my first track. Give me some feedback. It was mastered, and I actually used someone on Fiverr to create that, believe it or not. And let's see who we got in the room right now. Aaron and Julio, welcome. So today, guys, I want to talk about what's been going on, not only with Portal to Ascension, but just what's happening in the world in general. And right now, like, it's been pretty amazing. Portal to Ascension, we've been creating quite a lot of events over the last 2 months. Not only do we do our normal events where we have workshops and conferences, 110 events a year, but for the last 2 months, I've fully produced 7 different live multi-day conferences, more conferences than I've ever produced in such a short period of time. And just for the last 3 weeks, let's just say in the beginning of the year, the last 2 weeks, on January 4th, we did the Ascension, Exopolitics, and Disclosure Conference, which was actually with Laura Eisenhower, Michael Sala, and John D'Souza. And then a week after that, on the 8th, 9th, and 10th, which was 3 days, we did a whole entire conference on walk-ins, where we had 22 speakers on the walk-in phenomena. About 20 of them were actually walk-ins, the claim to be walk-ins. And now, which is the week later, which is tomorrow, we're going to do the first Portal to Ascension Sound Healing Conference. So just in the 3 weekends of this event this year alone, we've had such huge energy and impact. The first event that we did with Laura and Michael and John, we had 200 people sign up. The one we just did on walk-ins, 130 people. Tomorrow we have another 400 people signed up, and tomorrow's event is live or free. So, I mean, it's donation or free. You can sign up for free or you can donate to attend. And tomorrow's event is basically the integration of all of this information that we've been putting out there. There's a lot happening right now, and it's really important to be informed, but it's also really important to integrate what we're experiencing. And the integration I've found out to be that sound frequencies is one of the best ways to integrate this information, because not only are we really like sitting back and allowing this frequency to affect us, but it doesn't require as much as an effort than it may do as if you're meditating. Say that you're like meditating and, trying to set aside some time every single day for 30 minutes to meditate. It might not be as easy as just putting on these sound frequencies and allowing these frequencies to align and uplift you. So tomorrow we're going to be doing the first ever Portal to Ascension live 1-day sound healing conference, where we have 5 sound healers. I'm going to be performing spoken word. And then we also have Stephen Halpern's going to be there. We're going to have a discussion with him, Phil Gruber, Peter Sterling playing the harp. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this in a minute here. And for everybody joining in, please do stick around. For the first 10 minutes of this talk, I'm going to be showing you some events that's happening and that we've done, because it's just so exciting to me that we've created so many epic, fully produced conferences and events just in the last couple of months alone, starting with the Portal to Ascension conference in October that Aaron was one of the MCs. But what I really want to get in today is discussing the topic of disclosure and what's going on in regards to that. And there are some similarities with this whole COVID mentality and protocol that's going on right now. Many different mechanisms are being implemented that are the same mechanisms that would be implemented in a disclosure world when we have open contact with ETs. And there's some astronomers out there, mainstream astronomers, that are saying that this is actually what is going on right now, that we're being prepped for this disclosure. And if you've noticed anything within the news, you would know that there was this 180 days to release all the documentation that the government and all these agencies may have in regards to UFOs and ETs and technology. But also there's been other people, credible people, Harvard professor. There's been the space chief from Israel who founded the Israeli Space Agency. He's also come out with this. So I want to dissect that just a little bit and kind of see what direction they're going with, and if there is any hope within this, what they're really doing, and what is the true agenda. So we're going to get to that in probably like 15 minutes from now. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and just show you a couple of events that just passed that you can still check out on our website, and then also show you some things that are coming up. And I'm just going to check the room real quick and see what's good with everybody here. We got 8th Day Health saying, yes, mate. What's going on, brother? And Morgan. So welcome, everybody. And if you have any questions while I'm going through this, go ahead and ask me. And if I can answer them, I will. So let's get into some events. It's really started with the Portal to Ascension conference in October, where we did a 5-day event and had 8,600 people signed up, right? That was like the milestone of the whole entire year, really about just providing nonstop information in order to help uplift and align. And if you've been on any of our YouTube videos in the last couple of months and saw any of the lives, we've been going live every single day with one of the individuals that was actually at the Portal to Ascension conference, because I cut up all the footage and then I'm just relaunching it all on YouTube. So you probably checked them out. But if you want to see the actual full day, you can go to our YouTube and take a look there. It's 5 days, 55 speakers, 4 panels. We had one on UFO disclosure, one on extraterrestrial experiencers, one on the divine feminine, and one on ascension. So 55 plus speakers, really, and some great content there. So please do go ahead and check it out. And then after that, we went to the Psychedelic Awareness and Plant Medicine Online Conference. This was one of the first times I did this one as well. And the information on here was really designed to reduce and eliminate even the stigma around psychedelics and plants. What's going on right now in the world, which is another thing that is a relevant topic about now, in the US, there's a whole move to decriminalize psychedelics and plants medicine in general, and entheogenic plants and fungi, meaning like mushrooms and psilocybin. So this move has actually been voted on in multiple places, and places such as Denver, Oakland, Santa Cruz, Chicago have decriminalized mushrooms, and some of them have actually decriminalized all naturally occurring plants, including San Pedro, peyote, ayahuasca. And the reason for this is the science and studies are coming out, right? It's pretty obvious that these plants and fungi and whatever else actually can assist us not only with helping us with physical ailments, but emotional ailments. So right now, the Global Psychiatric Institute, if you will, like of the whole US, the regulators on there have now discovered and realized and they're accepting that emotional anxiety and depressive issues can be assisted with psychedelics and plant medicine. So we're in the process right now in the US, and especially in Canada as well, in order to be able to make these things available to more people. In Canada, they're working on an over-the-counter psilocybin mushrooms medication for people that have, want to microdose and get over depressive issues. So this event was extremely important because many people have been raised to have the stigma about drugs in general, but even when it comes to naturally occurring drugs, and some of these, I don't want to say naturally occurring plants, and some of these that have been used for thousands of years. So they don't know about it. So this event was designed for that. We had around 900 people signed up for it, and it's available as well for free on our YouTube right now. And we really went down through many different plants and fungi and what they can assist you with and how to integrate with it, and also what the costs are and where you can go in the world in order to get, different types of experiences and what the price ranges would be for that. So this was an amazing event. Check it out on our YouTube channel. And then after that, we went into the Ascension, Exopolitics, and Disclosure Conference here, where we had John D'Souza, Michael Sala, Laura Eisenhower. That was also another incredible event with a couple of hundred people signed up. And this event was basically to start the year out with the download of Disclosure. And some of the content information I'm going to get into in just a few moments right now is going to be kind of some stuff that we spoke about in here. So I'm going to skip this one and out and go over to this event. This one took place last weekend. It was a 3-day event. We had around 150 people signed up. We had 22 speakers, and this was the first ever conference on the walk-in phenomena. And what is a walk-in? Well, the whole concept of a walk-in is that a soul basically switches out with another consciousness at some point in your life. It's like a contractual agreement where the entity and the person, the soul that is within your now body, actually swaps out with maybe another version of itself or an extraterrestrial, interdimensional being, some other type of consciousness. So 20 of the individuals at this event claim to be walk-ins. So we heard about their experiences. In this event, we also heard about not only their experiences, but where they claim to be from, different places they've experienced extraterrestrial races that we've never even heard of, interdimensional realities and other dimensions that we've never even communicated about within this consciousness community. So this event was so amazing. The interaction was incredible. We actually stemmed a support group out of this. So out of this event came a group where now we're offering people this place where they can come and communicate about their own experiences. And even especially some people have had traumatic experiences and need some perspective. So that really came out of this conference. So look at all these speakers that we had. And I just want to say that we actually do have right now a no one turned away policy, because with what's happening in the world, like this hardcore situation for so many people are struggling, that having this spiritual outlet and getting information that can help empower you is extremely important. So fortunately for Portal to Ascension, for us, we've been really doing really well in 2020. We thrived, right? So now we're at the ability to be able to offer no one turned away. So if you want to attend any of our events on our website, and anything that we do, and you can't attend, you can always donate, or you can actually just attend for free. So just email us, go to our website, portaltoascension.org, and you can email me there. And then I'll hook you up with whatever you want. You can check out our past events too. But if you want to see over 1,500 hours of free content on, like, I don't even know, hundreds of different topics, you can just sign up to our website and log right in, and you will get access to all that. You can actually sort by speaker, you can sort by category, you can search things. And this is how the website currently looks, and you can take a look and just click on anything, sort by topic right here, advanced technology, ancient civilizations, Ascension, conference, speaker. And there's watch lists, documentaries, interviews. So go to portaltoascension.org, sign up there, and start viewing and give us feedback and tell us what you think, okay? And then this is an upcoming event. So the IXO conference is coming up. That's going to be February 6th. And this event is on exo consciousness. And really, when I get into the disclosure information right now, you're going to know why this is important, right? And a lot of you probably already do. And it's really utilizing the awareness of multidimensional and extraterrestrial existence in order to expand our consciousness, not only to this planet and connected to it, but beyond this reality into interdimensional realities. And this is the first ever Institute for Exo Consciousness online conference that they're going to be doing every year through Portal to Ascension. And the whole purpose of this institute is to get all these people together that are doing things that are using the consciousness or providing tools and techniques to expand our own consciousness. So this organization is dedicated to that. So we're doing an event with all the members, all the board directors from this nonprofit, where they're going to provide these tools and also tell you about the mission of what's going on. And it's extremely important right now because disclosure is imminent, right? ETs exist, and it's pretty much been disclosed. It's pretty much been disclosed. The let's just say the elite or the people in power, the presidents, the figureheads may have not come out and told the world and said, like, for example, the president coming out and saying, hey, UFOs are real, ETs exist, and you've been lied to. A lot of people are waiting for that. However, it really has been disclosed, and it's coming out even more and more now. It's just that the figureheads, the main people, aren't blasting it out to people. The media is taking it right now, but the main people aren't really blasting it out so that everybody isn't just saying this is a reality. There's always this level of doubt going on in there. So this brings me to our next topic. So let me just take a look at the chat and see how everybody is. Okay, so Vinny, what do you mean, huh? Tell me what you mean, brother, and I'll explain what I'm talking about. And also, all of our events, these unlimited replay access, so you can go ahead and sign up for an event and you can get unlimited replay access. And all of our free events are here on our YouTube channel, so go ahead and check it. Tomorrow's Sound Healing Conference is actually going to go live on our YouTube as well. All right, segue into the next experience. Really, like, for myself, the beginning of this year has been kind of intense for me. It's brought up a lot of emotions. I've been feeling a little bit angry at times, and just I don't know why. Things are going good for me personally and Portal to Ascension, but I have felt a little off and a little like frustrated. And I'm utilizing and figuring out ways in order to funnel my energy. And tomorrow during the sound healing conference, I feel like just immersing myself in the sound frequency will also assist. But there's a lot going on right now. And a lot of people that I would say in the beginning of this whole experience when we were in quarantine, there was a lot of people that I know that were actually happy to be in quarantine and spend some time being creative. But I'm noticing now that even those people that, you know, in the beginning for months were cool with it, a lot of people are starting to get frustrated. And maybe it's because in a lot of places, it looks like there's no end in sight, right? The whole entire reality for humans really is about planning for our future, like anticipating what is to come next. And when you're at a state where you can't even anticipate what to come next, it's really about being in the moment, right? So what is this experience right now? This experience is how are we going to enjoy the moment, and how are we going to enjoy the moment when we have less stimuli, right? When we have less stimuli, we can't go to the movies and do all these things. So I've been working on that, cultivating that, but it's also getting to me at times. Like I'm not perfect, so I'm still working on it. And if you feel that you want some energy and some a meditative event where you want to basically relax too and just immerse yourself in frequencies and take a step back from reality, then definitely a 10-hour event. Well, take a step back from this whole reality and immerse yourself in the truth of the cosmos. That whole event tomorrow, the Sound Healing Conference, is really for that. Okay, now we're going to get into the story of the hour, guys. The COVID-19 bill. Let me go ahead and share my screen here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So most of you here on this platform, I'm assuming probably heard about this, right? Some of you might not have. But when the COVID-19 bill was put out in December, it kickstarted a 180-day countdown for UFO disclosure. And what this means is that within this bill, they have said that all the intelligence agencies need to, this is chaired by Marco Rubio, need to disclose everything that they know on UFOs and extraterrestrials within 180 days from that date in December. So right now we're probably at what, like 160 days left to go. Even though this happened around 20 days ago, it was so huge and so much information coming out of there. I needed to wrap my head really around it before I could go live about this information. So there's this countdown going on in which they're going to release all this information, and it's 180 days. So I think that's sometime in May or June. But this didn't actually stop them from releasing it immediately. What we've now noticed is that they're actually dumping this content now. But when you look at this bill here, right? So let's talk about this specific article and what it's talking about. COVID-19 bill started this 180-day countdown for UFO disclosure. In some of the articles, it actually says that a lot of this information that's coming out is going to be handed over to TTSA, to the Stars Academy, which was spearheaded by Tom DeLonge. And Tom DeLonge, if you don't know about that whole story, he's the lead singer of Blink-182. He was always into UFOs. When he left Blink-182, part of the reason for that was because he was actually going to invest more time in UFOs and speaking to government people in the government in order to get out this information that he thought needs to get out. However, if you really dissect this, TTSA, they're focusing entirely on the craft and the technology that is being utilized in order to bring whoever is in these craft over here, right? So they're focusing on the craft. But the real question is here not about just the UFOs and UAPs and what these are and what technology it's using to have anti-gravity and so on, but it's really about who are behind these craft. So the rule of thumb, like let's get into discernment for a moment, is the rule of thumb really is, are these individuals trying to say that they're getting this information together because there is a collective threat going on, right? If they're saying there's a threat, like this article, for example, like to the Stars Academy, then you can probably categorize them as maybe the individuals that want to create disclosure in order to make advanced technology, capitalize off it, and create this threat where we're all collectively scared of the extraterrestrials. So if they show up, if the extraterrestrials show up, right, and land or whatever, or communicate with us on a mass level, if the majority of humanity has believed that this is an actual threat, then we're more likely not to even accept the fact that that's happening and jump on to the people that are already in charge, the elite that are already in charge, so that whatever they have said is reality. And what they're saying right now is that this is a threat. So look at the 180 days to countdown. First of all, who is releasing this content, right? We have the NSA, we have the 3-letter agencies. I'm not going to go into all of them because we'll probably get, BANNED from YouTube. Hopefully YouTube can't spell. But that's the fact of the matter, is that they are releasing it from these agencies that are military agencies or intelligence agencies that have all this information about how this can be a threat. So now we're going to observe and really see what happens. But in the next 180 days during this whole COVID thing, we're in for some amazing surprises. And it started within a couple of weeks, right? So cue the next article here. Here's the next one. This happened only on January 12th, which was what day is it today? It's the 15th. So this just happened 3 days ago, where I'm not even going to say the name, releases the UFO Black Vault documents and how to see them online. So now, not only are mainstream outlets saying like, hey, here's the next phase of this all. And if you read some of these articles, they also reference to the Stars Academy. But not only are they saying like, here is all the content and we've released it, but now they're teaching the public how to search them. Right? This is interesting and extremely amazing. Now the article is literally instructions on how you can actually view the UFO information. And look, they're even showing like the declassified documents, the CD here. Right. Look, you can take something that took more than a decade to come to my mailbox and give it to the public for free in an instant. So things that we've been trying to find for so long are now basically being coming out, and you can search it within moments. And some of this content was actually out before, but you would have to go to DC and go to the library and actually search for it manually. This is the first time ever it's now launched digitally where you can search it. So someone's been spending some time really, putting this in the database so that everybody in the world can really look for it. And look at this. This is a document from the CIA's own declassified documents. Look how much retracted information there is. But you can tell us about UFOs, analytical guidance on the UFO, exhibited interest in which was hand carried to his office. After a short examination of his content, Dr. advised that us would personally look into a matter and get back to us, talking about the UFO. So this is definitely happening, and we just got to completely observe it. And even though there might be this agenda coming out in which they want to create a threat and this fake alien invasion kind of mentality that many speakers have spoke out for so long, and I want to take a little detour right now and actually talk about the fake alien invasion thing, right? So many speakers have spoke about the fact that there will be a fake alien invasion. And, from Stephen Greer to Michael Sala, John Souza, the list goes on, really. Many people think that that's not the case at all. And I felt for a long, long time that that's definitely not the case. Just the whole concept of Project Bluebeam and them to even create this fake reality in front of us in which there's a UFO attacking us and it's a fake alien invasion, and this gets everybody riled up in order to be against the ETs, that just seems so far-fetched to me. However, when I do look at all the content that's coming out here, I can't help but notice that they are really pushing this threat agenda, right? I personally feel, I'm so hopeful, I'm like hopelessly hopeful that I feel that everything they're doing is going to backfire and is backfiring on them, right? And part of that is because of the contract that they've all signed up for, which is to give us this experience of darkness so that until we transcend and shift into this new reality, which is occurring right now, into this new dimension, this new frequency, whatever you want to call it, and we're shifting into that reality. So everything is backfiring because they're unable to hide the truth from us. We have so many outlets in order to communicate truth and information that even if there's so much disinformation out there that it confuses people, they can't really hold the narrative either because there's so much doubt in what is going on, and people have lost trust, really have lost trust in their governing organizations, and the governing organizations really need to be able to win that back. However, it doesn't look like that's going to occur anytime soon because there's a huge uproar against this structure of what they've created that has really lied and deceived the masses for so long. And especially when it comes to the UFOs, like just if everybody knew in the US alone, just the corruption that has happened since Roswell in regards to hiding this from us, and the fact that many different whistleblowers have said that they literally think that we're ignorant. They think that we can't take the truth, right? We can't handle the truth. But the fact is that these ETs and craft exist, and there is something that goes beyond the craft and reverse engineering technology in order to advance the military. And that is, who are these beings? Who are these beings that are actually behind these craft, right? Why are they visiting Earth? And that gets into an entirely different topic that I'm going to be doing next week. So next week, I'm going to go live like at least 3 days, right? So tomorrow I got the Sound Healing Conference. In the Sound Healing Conference, I just definitely got to drop some UFO disclosure stuff because there's just this information that I'm going to get into in a moment here is just needs to be said every single day, right? And then on Sunday, I'm doing a conscious open mic, and you guys can attend that as well. It's a consciousness open mic. It's called The Woken Word. I'm going to say it there. But then 3 days next week, I'm going to go live, and we're going to speak about specific components of what I'm going through right now because there's just so much happening. I'm going to spend some time as well going through these documents that have been declassified and taking a look at some things that I can find and sharing it with you. Now, if you do a simple search on the internet of the words declassified UFO documents, right? It's a pretty common search term. A lot of people have been searching it for quite some time. I know that I searched this term over 10 years ago, right? Back then, when you used to do these searches, what would you find first? You would find websites like my own. You would find YouTube channels. You would find Steve Bassett. You'd find Richard Dolan. These are individuals that have been doing it for quite some time and really have ranked high in the search engines for the term UFO disclosure. But now, when you search UFO disclosure, right, or just declassified UFO documents, two really highly searched terms, you will definitely get mainstream outlets first. Completely hijack the internet when it comes to this. You know, I'm not judging that at all. Like, I'm just saying that it's become so mainstream that the mainstream outlets are literally showing up now because of their ability to rank high in these search engines. So when you search declassified UFO documents, the first website that you find is this one right here. Again, I'm going to try my best not to say words that will make YT get pissed off at me. So here we go. We got this website right here, and read who it is, right? And this is the first website that shows up, and it's literally like highlighted in order to be able to get people directed to a place where they can search all these documents, right? So right here, you can see that there was a data dump. And here we go. This is their website right here. So much content. Look at this. Citizens Against Unidentified Flying Objects Secrecy. Citizens Against. Oh my God, guys. I didn't even know this. We're discovering something together. There is a lawsuit, a civil action lawsuit, and here's the number. And it's the Citizens Against Unidentified Flying Objects Secrecy versus the NSA. So that's what's happening right now. That's why they got to release it. They're being sued for this, right? And now we have the communications in regards to all of that right next. And now after the next one, which is probably more files on the case, the lawsuit against them to release more documents, now we have lots and lots of content and drops here. UFO files, untold story. Government super secret security agency warns. Take UFOs seriously or be prepared for sneak invasion by space aliens. Alien threat. Look whose website we're on. The US government and the Iran case. Something about UFOs to do with Iran and the US government. I'm going to spend some time on this. Here you go, guys. Here's the link. Please go there. And if you really want to help me out and help yourself out and help the world out, I would love for you to go on this website and actually search it and tell me what you find as well. UFO as advanced technology. French government UFO study. This expands globally, of course, because this is a global issue. Joint Chiefs of Staff report concerning the sighting of a UFO in Iran. Let's see if we can find anything else juicy here. Political report. Okay, so that's got some of the UFOs. Celestial body observed over Antarctica, guys. Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. This is crazy. I can't wait to read this one. If I can even make those words out. So, Department of State, subject, celestial body observed over Antarctica. Dude, I don't even know right now. I want to like stop and just like just freaking do this over because this is like too much. This is pretty awesome that that's out there. Okay, let's see. UFO hypothesis and survival questions. What's up with that, huh? UFOs in the intelligence community blind spot to surprise deceptive data. Key to the extraterrestrial messages. So on top of this, the Leaks website, I'm not going to say the full word, the Leaks website that is actually banned on the #1 search engine in the world, hint, hint, they have actually just released more emails from Clinton, Podesta, and like a bunch of other people, and a lot of them have UFO information in them. That just happened within the last 4 days. All right, so let's get rid of this one here. Actually, no, I got to keep this open. I'm definitely coming back to this. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and check the YouTube right now, see what you guys are saying. If you have any comments here, could you post a link to the website? Okay, yes. Well, I don't know if I should because yeah, I will. I just don't want to get busted, you know. Like just to know, let you know why I'm saying that is because they've literally deplatformed me like hardcore. Okay, here you go, guys. So we're off Instagram, we're off Facebook. I'm off Facebook, but our Portal Ascension page is still on Facebook, and the reach that I've had has just gone. Luckily for Portal to Ascension and us, we do have a huge email list, and that is really where we get the interaction from people. So go ahead and check. Go to portaltoascension.org, sign up there. But if you really want to like support us, just go to any search engine, type in Portal to Ascension, and just add everything you can find because every single platform that I'm launching on has different content. All right, I want to make sure I'm going in order here. So we've talked about events, right? I'm gonna plug the Sound Healing Conference one more time towards the end of it all, and I've talked about my emotional state right now. So the next thing is the monolith, and what I want actually is some feedback. So let me know, guys, if you've heard about the Utah Monolith. Please just say yes in the chat room in YouTube and on Facebook if you heard about it. Have you heard about the Utah Monolith? I'm waiting for a couple of people to answer. And the question is, okay, I'll let you guys answer if you want to, but let me give you a little story, okay? So the Utah Monolith showed up, right? Let me get some images up for you. Let's make this a little more interactive. And since I'm going live, I'm like doing this spur of the moment, and I literally like just like shaved in 2 seconds just to sit on my chair and just to talk to you guys because this is so important. It's just got to be raw, really. Okay, so here we go. Here's the Utah Monolith, right? So the whole entire thing is about a month ago, this monolith showed up. This monolith right here showed up in Utah. What was happening is that this guy right here and a couple other people were in their helicopter and they were counting, I think it was goat, right? In Utah, within the canyons, they were counting the goat for the regulating agency in regards to animals and stuff in that area. So as they were flying over, they actually go ahead and discover something. And what they see is this, right? They're looking overhead, they see that, and they land. And what is it? It's this monolith. So at first, people were like, oh my God, this is so interesting. It could be alien. And then pretty soon it went into this first of all, 2 individuals, they went there and they actually removed the monolith. So they said, and they had images and they put it up on the internet of them removing and dissecting the monolith. These 2 individuals were YouTube influencers, and they were YouTube influencers for the environment, right? Environmental protection. So what the whole thing was is that they were upset that somebody desecrated this area that you're not allowed to with an art piece. And even though it was a beautiful art piece, they had to take it down and dissect it. So we see that image. And then soon after that, another artist organization and company says, hey, we put the monolith up there. And then all of a sudden, it's just known that, and all over the US, it's just pushed out that these are the guys that created it. However, there's so many holes in this story. They pretty much did not create it. And after they said they created it, they went ahead and put a website up in which they were selling monoliths for $45,000. So they jumped onto the bandwagon of this monolith thing, and they were like, damn, people are going to want monoliths. Let's go ahead and put up this website and sell them for 45 G's. But little do most people know is what happened after this monolith. All of a sudden, one day, it disappeared. Right? We hear this information about these guys that took it and dissected it, right? And then we hear that this other individual put it up there. But what some of us do not know is that the day it disappeared, the monolith appeared in Romania. Let's see. Monolith, Romania. Boom. The day it disappeared, the day it disappeared, the day it disappeared, it showed up right here in Romania. The quote or something like, I forget what the mayor of the town in Romania said something, and he said that he's honored that the aliens chose Romania in order to put the monolith there, right? However, a few days later, the monolith disappears. Boom. Monolith here. A few days later, where did you go? But guess what? It appeared somewhere else. As you can see here, after Romania, it disappeared, and within seconds, it gets discovered in California. But if you think that's not enough, it kept going around the entire world hundreds of times. Hundreds of times, guys. It kept disappearing and showing up everywhere. And this is like common, like out there. They just don't show it to you. You just go look for it and you'll find out. The monolith went everywhere, dude. Let me see if I can find some other places. Okay. So there's not going to show me unless I know the actual locations. So let's go here. So here's the Utah monolith. And then it kept moving. So we have Utah, Romania, then California, then it went to the Netherlands, then it went to England, then it went to Pennsylvania, then it was in Vegas, and then it was in California again. And this is now the running list of all the places the monolith showed up. Look at this: India, Morocco, Europe, Belgium, Czech Republic, Finland, France, Germany. Look at all these dates, all of them in December, all of them back to back. Hungary. Look how many times it showed up in Germany. It showed up in Germany 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different times on different dates and different locations. Hungary, Italy, Netherlands, many places in all these places. Norway, Poland, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, United Kingdom, Ukraine, North America, a bunch of places. And the list really goes on. Lots of places. And then we have Australia too. We have Panama. We have Bolivia. All right. So I'm not someone that's going to like just tell you something that could have any doubt in my mind that this is something that's real that's going on. I would never go live on. I don't go live on anything that there's a doubt on in my head. I've looked into this and I've discovered that the monolith people that are saying it's not the monolith, there's a million holes in their stories. Like they are just BSing. But then you see a deliberate stop from the largest search engine in the world to make sure that the content about this monolith stopped at Romania. So I'm gonna stop my screen share for a minute and like look at you guys directly because I want to tell you about this. No, it was okay. It was the same monolith almost all the time, but sometimes it was black and sometimes it had inscriptions. So the monolith would disappear somewhere and then it would reappear somewhere else. Most of the time, it was the exact same thing. But then after a few times, like multiple times of showing up, what started happening is the monolith started appearing with inscriptions on it, right? So we have a monolith that was in we have a monolith that was in, what was it called? I forget the area now, but there was a monolith that had 3 inscriptions on it of different locations. One was somewhere in New York. I forget where the second one was. And the other location was the Sphinx. So that's very interesting that it was marking all of those areas. And then another one that showed up in Indonesia had inscriptions of like 6 different languages found in the middle of a jungle. Right. So inscriptions are 6 different languages. And that's what's been occurring now is these monoliths are now showing up with different things on it. And it is happening like clockwork where it disappears and then all of a sudden someone finds it somewhere else. So there is something going on here. And it's just extremely interesting to observe and almost mind-blowing and kind of weird, right? So Kyle's saying this is not evidence to me, only speculations. I'm looking for something a human couldn't do. So a human going around the world to hundreds of places within a period of weeks, dropping monoliths in areas that you can't even hike to, yet alone take a monolith to, isn't something to you that makes you think, wait a second, what's going on? Because of the healthy skepticism that that the elite put on us all the time anyway, that something with all of these things that go together that make it look like, hey, that's pretty much impossible to even do and create, doesn't make you think, is there a possibility for that? So there's always a doubt in everything, right? I'm a healthy skeptic too. There's always a doubt, like, what could this be? But it seems that a lot of protocols that have actually been, let's see, Bethany's saying maybe Jungle One with languages will have a key to that one, Pongo Pongo, that no scholar or anyone can translate. So there is something happening right now for UFO disclosure. The organizations, the elite, are putting it out, and they want everybody to know that there is this UAP, there's this threat going on, and we need to all rally together for it. The the government has really had no choice but to release everything that they have on this information within 180 days. So even though, say Congress says to the three-letter agencies, hey, you need to release all your UFO stuff, there's nothing stopping these individuals from throwing these documents away and completely hiding it and just saying it's not there. But it seems that they're being scanned and released anyway. So I feel that they're all in on it and they want to release this information, and it's just a part of the plan. There is no let's hold back right now, but there is let's put this stuff out with a certain agenda. So as this is happening, as we're in one of the most like hardcore experiences that we've collectively gone on Earth, as we're all on Earth experiencing and putting out the same thoughts of, whether it's fear, whether it's the virus or whatever else into the universe, all of a sudden these monoliths are appearing, right? And for a long time, I would say, just like many people, it's not about UFOs and aliens saving us. It's about us saving ourselves. And once we save ourselves, we can reach the frequency that we need to in order to have open communication with these beings. And the individual from the Israeli Space Agency, the guy that started it, the Israeli space chief that came out and said that the US and Israel both know about the existence of extraterrestrials, and they've been in communication with the Galactic Federation for so long, and that it's just a matter of time until we basically reach the level that we need to in order for us to communicate with them. All these things are dripping out back to back. A week later after that, a Harvard scientist says that that asteroid that appeared in our galaxy, in our solar system, and came to Earth was definitely extraterrestrial. So I'm going to also mention that. Do you guys remember this alien asteroid? And to everybody joining right now, thank you for joining me and welcome. And this is really like, this is just me ranting from my head because, and all the things that I'm kind of thinking about right now and my thoughts, and I'm kind of processing my thoughts with you. So this asteroid right here, right? This came, I think it was a few years ago now, I forget the exact year. It came into our solar system and headed towards Earth. Many different scientists and mainstream people and, alternative conscious speakers, UFO disclosure people, were saying that there's something very strange about this asteroid. And it kind of came and went, and then it got swept under the rug. However, many people did not forget about this, including very credible professionals, such as a Harvard professor, that have said, like, everything about this asteroid was extremely weird. Did you know that this asteroid came to Earth at a very fast speed towards the planet, and as it progressed and actually came towards Earth, it began slowing down, right? And as everything that we know about how asteroids go in space is that there is no friction in order to make this thing slow down. Once you throw it at a speed, it continues going down that speed until something stops it. Whether it collides with something or if it's a craft, it slows itself down. So what happened was that this asteroid began slowing down. But say here's Earth, right? So it came towards Earth from outside of the galaxy. And then when it got to Earth, it slowed down, stopped, and it then turned another direction. It turned into another direction and it sped off the other way. So not only did it come to Earth, slow down, and literally come to a halt, but then it went and turned and sped off outside of our solar system and outside of our galaxy. It was tracked, right? So there isn't really anyone that has said that this is a normal asteroid. The individuals that don't want to say it's alien just don't talk about it. all the other people that are credible and people that you may think aren't are literally talking about this in the form that it was an asteroid monolith. So here's my question, right? And I'm processing this through with you guys right now. So feedback would be nice. Here's my question, okay? So if this craft came, I think it was 2016, to Earth and scoped us out in order to see what's going on this planet, which really, in the most logical sense, seems like it was actually the case. Go ahead and look up articles on that asteroid, and you'll see all types of mainstream articles telling you why it was weird. This Harvard professor is coming out with a book right now, being released right now on all the elements of this asteroid and why it was alien. A book on all the elements of why it was alien, right? So what I personally feel, and even though I'm saying this, I'm really like also holding back saying this stuff because people have said UFOs and aliens are gonna land for a while now, and instead of an overnight process, I'm realizing it's a longer process. But what I'm really feeling is that this was some extraterrestrial consciousness entity, basically observing some sort of thing within our planetary system and our electromagnetic grid. Whether it was us, whether it was a level of a consciousness, I'm not too sure. Whether it was just like a beacon, and then all of a sudden these monoliths start appearing. And if you go on YouTube, which you're probably on right now, and you type in the universe inside monolith, the universe inside monolith, the universe inside is the YouTube channel that is a super mainstream YouTube channel that talks about the universe. They have this whole 22-minute video on all the anomalies of this monoliths and where they showed up and how it happened. Look at that video and then come back and talk to me, because that video just will blow your mind, right? So again, I'm thinking that what happened was that this was actually coming towards us, scoping us out, and then all of a sudden this COVID thing happened, and now all these people around the world are, you know, tripping on this collective frequency, and there's a lot of fear being put on us by these elite. And you know, if aliens exist, if ETs do exist, which I believe they do, and they're communicating with us or observing us, or that we have some sort of ancestry with them, so they have an invested interest in our well-being and consciousness, they would definitely be at alert right now that, you know, this is happening to us. And then on top of that, while this is occurring, all these protocols are being implemented that are leading towards a disclosure world in regards to all this data dump, massive amounts of data that is now going to be sorted through from not only governmental people, but also people like ourselves. And then at the same time, these monoliths start appearing, right? And monolith isn't something new. This is actually appears all over the place, and even in our own, let me take that back. The monolith concept isn't new. Finding a monolith that could be extraterrestrial is not a new thing. Did you know that the moon on Mars, one of Mars's moons, I think it's Phobos, yep, has a monolith on it, right? So let's take a look here of at the Martian moon. Oh, I'm not even sharing my screen, so let me show you guys. I don't know what Corey said about the monolith. See, okay, that's another thing. Kyle, the good point. Aliens don't travel through space anymore, he says. Well, what I'm realizing now is that every single possibility of an extraterrestrial exists. That all types of different travel and things that occurring around us. And then some of them have reversed, some of them are actually, you know, our own earthly organizations reverse engineering craft, and some of them even to kind of maneuver and manipulate our own thoughts. Sometimes these organizations prefer you to believe it's a UFO than actually believe what it might be, which is them working on some advanced craft, right? So here's Phobos, and let's take a look at Phobos and Mars first. Look at this. This is Mars, and this is Phobos. Phobos is a potato-shaped kind of moon around Mars. It is known by astronomers and space agencies to be the weirdest anomaly in our solar system. The weirdest anomaly in our solar system, because they really are trying to figure out how this asteroid got there. They're thinking that, okay, maybe this asteroid was passing by and it got caught somehow. But imagine at the speed it must have been going in order to just to be captured by Mars's gravity. It wasn't an asteroid that was going at an extremely fast pace that it hit Mars or that it went past Mars's own gravity, but it was going so slow that it actually got captured by the gravity. So even mainstream astronomers have suggested that Phobos could have actually been placed there, right? It's something that they don't really dissect and go into a little more than that, but they're saying that they believe that it could have actually been placed there. So now on this moon, they have discovered a freaking monolith. They found it when they found the moon. This came out a long time ago, and of course they're trying to debunk it in some places, but a lot of places have also proved it. And that video I showed you shows you all the things that the anomalies about it. Look, here is an image that was taken from a satellite off it. Here we go. It's another one. Look at the shadow that it casts. So this thing is actually extremely huge. Just when they, I forget what they said about it, but how big it was, but it's extremely huge. So now we go back to where we might have first heard about the whole concept of a monolith. Pop question, guys. Who here remembers the first time the monolith was made commercial and public and known for the masses? And what was, okay, it was a movie. Let's just say that. Do you guys know what the movie is? Let's see. Do we have anybody here that wants to answer this question? What was the first time that a monolith? Well, yep, there we go. Kyle, you got it, brother. So now we go back into 2001, A Space Odyssey, in which we have the monolith. And I'm having fun showing images here, so we're going to do that right now. Monolith, 2001, Space Odyssey. All right. Bada bing. Okay, so here's the image of the monolith that we see in 2001 Space Odyssey. And the whole thing here really is that we have these apes, right? And there's two tribes of apes, okay? And they're fighting against each other. And then one day, one tribe of apes touches the monolith, and all of a sudden it sparks a consciousness within them that allows them to go to the next level and they become sentient beings. What happens is the ape realizes it can take a bone, use it as a baton, and they take the bone and they kill the other tribe of apes, and now they become the superior ones, and that kickstarts all of humanity. And that keeps going forward and forward and forward until we get to the later in the movie in 2001 Space Odyssey, where we have another monolith. And this monolith is on the moon when humans went to the moon in 2001 within this movie. So they find another monolith. And now what this next monolith represents is basically a beacon and a marker that when we touch it, it sends out the signal to an extraterrestrial race that put it there that humans have now reached the consciousness in order to travel interdimensionally, intergalactically throughout space, right? We've now reached that level. So it sends out that beacon. Now we look at where did Kubrick get this idea from? He got it from a book from Clark that was called The Sentinel, in which this whole entire concept of the monolith actually came from the story of the Anunnaki and the Sumerian scriptures and the DNA hybridization that they had in order to shift the consciousness of humanity so that we can get into this higher level of being a sentient being and then ultimately go and travel the depths of space. So the whole concept of the monolith and this thing and this movie actually stemmed from the original stories of extraterrestrials and the Anunnaki from the Sumerian scriptures. So some people might just say, hey, that's just from a movie, somebody's imitating it. But if you look at the movie actually takes the content from ancient scriptures that actually spoke about these beings coming down here and having this effect on us and doing all, and then doing this DNA hybridization program where they shifted our consciousness and we became sentient, awake beings that led to who we are today. So that's just my spiel on this whole monolith in thing that's going on right now. And I truly think that we're in for some amazing surprises this year. And you know what? I never really say this because I'm not about dates at all, right? I'm definitely not about like, okay, this is the date that we're going to have disclosure and in 6 months from now, this is going to happen. So I really don't usually like to go into dates because firstly, I believe it's about living in the moment. And then the more we're present with our moment, the more we'll create this reality, this world that we know is possible, rather than being over there. And also I'm jaded, people have been talking about dates for so long that I'm kind of completely over hearing this. But now we're not talking about dates. It's happening right now. All this information is coming out. At this moment, any person that really says, hey, you're crazy, aliens aren't here, aren't visiting, you can sit down with them, spend some time and show them not only declassified documents on these agencies' websites, but also articles that are mainstream articles, even from credible sources giving information about what's going on, right? So what's happening is the agenda for the UAP threat is full throttle right now. There's a threat. We need this technology. We need to come up with an app, and this app needs to allow people like us to triangulate UFOs, UAPs, and then report them to these agencies so that they can track them down and see if they're a threat. That's the next step for TTSA, right? But at the same time, these monoliths are appearing. This asteroid came to our system. The Israeli space chief is saying the Galactic Federation is waiting for us to be able to be mature enough to communicate with them. So it's very exciting times right now. Okay, this is going to get now into first contact. So I want to talk about first contact next. And let's read some comments here. Bethany's saying, let's hope this is a year that takes us out of media-driven fear. I 100% agree with that. Kyle, have you heard the theory that the Bitcoin protocol came from aliens to spark some kind of paradigm shift away from fiat? Yeah, I have heard of that. And the central banking system, is becoming decentralized. And I wouldn't doubt that's a possibility at all. So first contact, what will first contact look like? And is first contact actually occurring now? I'm going to segue into a presentation that I put together, and I'm really excited about this presentation. I'm just going to, I'll just show you real quick the beginning of it. I did this at the Watkins conference I did last week, but it's called Galactic Origins, Dimensions, and Black Holes. And I'm going to be doing this full presentation. It'll be 2 hours plus within a month or so. You guys can sign up on portaltoascension.org and you can take a look at, be in this event. But I want to just go over a couple of slides here about first contact. So how is first contact going to happen? Now, this presentation right here has a lot of research behind it in which are in the slides before this. So I'm going to go just right into this without giving you all the backing for this. You can check that out at a future event. But right now, there are a few things that are happening or could be happening in our future that really could be first contact. Firstly, channeling is first contact, right? So individuals that say that they're having this connection to they're another consciousness or an extraterrestrial or interdimensional or elemental, they're in essence having first contact. And some channelers feel like they're legit, some don't. But what's actually occurring is there's a vibratory match. So one of the first levels of first contact seem to be this vibratory match that we're having, where not only are humans shifting their consciousness to a level in which they can perceive these thought patterns that are coming from these beings, otherworldly beings, but then the consciousness of these otherworldly beings are also shifting so that we can meet halfway and then we can have this open communication. So that is what channeling is. Then telepathy, right? Telepathy is also a form of channeling, but let's just take it as to what it is. Telepathy is really the ability to communicate with someone without really having to open our mouth and use words. So that's occurring right now. There is telepathy that's happening. People say they have these experiences through plant medicine where they actually communicate with extraterrestrials or interdimensionals or ultradimensionals. But also in an advanced reality, an advanced world, having a world with telepathy makes it that we have to be transparent. And a lot of these, secrets and habits that we have that we don't want to share with everybody really need to be worked out before we can even have a world of telepathy. Imagine if we're all telepathic right now, right? Imagine knowing what people are saying and feeling all the time. There's so much struggle that occurs on this planet that just having that world, we're really not there yet. So that's another level of communication that is occurring, that will be occurring more and more. And then meditation. When you have meditation, some people claim to have downloads from different ETs. Some people even do Arcturian meditations, Syrian type of meditations. There's a Palladian meditation on the earth that this organization does, right? And then number four is the walk-ins phenomena. So the whole concept of walk-ins is that, and I spoke about this in the beginning, and we just did a conference, a 3-day conference on this topic for 3 days, 22 speakers last weekend. Sign up to our website if you want to see it for free. Let me know. And the whole thing with walk-ins is, say that you've been on Earth, say you've been here for 24 years, and then all of a sudden you have some traumatic experience, and then you wake up the next day. A lot of times it happens through accidents, right? But it also happens without accidents. And all of a sudden, you're not that person that you used to be. Everything, you have memories of that individual, but you also have a plethora of other memories of sometimes of different places that you've lived at and different planets that you've lived in. Or you come with a full awareness that you just switched out with the individual soul that was here on the planet. Usually what happens is there's a soul contract going on where the individual on the planet doesn't want to be here anymore, the soul, and this another soul wants to go in order to implement their mission on this planet. So there's a trade. Usually the soul that swaps in is just another aspect of you that exists in another planet, another world. Maybe your like your Syrian self, for example, right? So you switch out. There are 6 types of distinct walk-ins. One is actually called an infusion, where over your period of life you have multiple extraterrestrials infuse into your consciousness, and you become, a group of different consciousnesses communicating. So that's one of the forms um, of first contact. However, that's been happening probably forever, and it's happening more now than ever, I would say. And there's evidence to suggest that it's actually happening more now since we started having the nuclear age and the atomic bomb was detonated. All of a sudden, there's been more ETs incarnating onto Earth, as referring to Dolores Cannon's work right there, in which they are here in order to help us not destroy ourselves, right? And then healing amnesia. Right now, we're on this planet where we experience amnesia. A lot of ancient scriptures, channelers, researchers have all come to a similar conclusion. And that conclusion is that we are on this planet and have a forgetfulness about other realities that we've lived in. Most people probably listening to me right now probably believe in reincarnation or past lives. Truly, it could actually be simultaneously living these lives because time doesn't exist in linearity. That's only a construct of our world. So it's really multiple lifetimes, right, that coexist. There's researchers that have said, and all these other things that I mentioned, that other planets, especially in other dimensions, higher dimensions, don't have amnesia. They remember their extraterrestrial lives, they remember their past lives and simultaneous lives, and they have remembrance. And some of them have limited remembrance, but they still have remembrance. But on this planet, on Earth, we've come down to a density in which our brains have been wiped clean. However, it's all locked in our subconscious, right? So it's all back there somewhere in our subconscious, tapped into some sort of collective consciousness. However, we need to implement certain practices or have certain soul contracts in order to unlock that. So, first contact in regards to healing amnesia is us working on ourselves in order to create that meditative state where we can be in like basically a peace with each other on this planet, be in harmony with each other on this planet, and then we can heal the amnesia that we've experienced. So, healing amnesia is another form of first contact. Now, another one that's been going on forever and is definitely being talked about a lot now because many people do workshops on this and they actually do conferences on this is astral travel and out of body experiences. People utilizing certain tools and techniques in order to leave their bodies or travel in through the astral realm. And while they're doing that, they end up in different realities and worlds and have the ability to communicate with extraterrestrials. And then the last thing I'm going to mention here is, and this is just my 2 cents on it all. You can probably tell me many other things that you think might be a form of that. But the other thing is the positioning of our solar system. So our solar system is positioned in our galaxy in a certain area. It's spinning around, doing Fibonacci spirals all over the place, going around the central black hole in the center of our galaxy. And as we're doing that, we're moving to different pockets of our galaxy. The solar system is always moving different places. Right now, the positioning of our solar system allows for us to have a better the veil is literally lifted and the ability to communicate with other, intergalactic, whatever types of beings. So the positioning of our solar system right now also backs the fact that we could actually have open contact. And in this presentation, when I do the full thing, I go into detail into this. But our galaxy, and this is mainstream science, right? Our galaxy has this sort of shock effect where it vibrates and sends out cosmic waves. So here's the flat, quote unquote, uh, plane of our galaxy, and what's happening is we're actually getting what's happening is that the cosmic rays that come out from our galaxy, there's some sort of bow shock that occurs from the central black hole. The shock that occurs emanates cosmic rays upwards from our galaxy. So here's our galaxy. The cosmic rays go up, 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 constantly bombarding us at this time within our galaxy. And the reason for that is that there's some sort of alignments going on that does that. So Earth at this point right now just happens to have gone over the galactic center and the galactic disk above the galaxy in which we're constantly being bombarded with these cosmic rays. I'm going to say it again. That's mainstream science, right? I'm telling you stuff straight from like peer-reviewed articles, right? So that's what they've noticed. And what does that mean to me? What does that mean to you? It means that we have all these cosmic rays bombarding our planet right now in a way that hasn't happened within our lifetimes, definitely, maybe for 10,000 plus years, that is allowing for more of an ability to have open contact. Earlier in this rant that we're currently experiencing together, I spoke about the fact that could this whole world situation right now be preparing us for first contact? Well, a couple of really well-known, incredible scientists actually believe that's exactly what's happening. And if you look at just all the disclosure that's occurring right now, maybe you could think that it is connected some way, especially because in the COVID relief bill was the 180 days to disclosure. They tied that in right together. People think it was a coincidence. I'm saying it isn't. When the first message from an alien intelligence arrives, our experience with this thing we're experiencing could help us plan a suitable response, researchers say. Imagine the following scenario. A remote radio telescope detects a repeating signal from a sun-like star a few tens of light years away from Earth. In the next few days, other radio telescopes repeat and confirm the observation. This is astronomy.com. The signal has a high information content that cannot be produced by any known natural process. With much excitement and cautious wringing of hands, scientists conclude that the signal is evidence of an intelligence elsewhere in the universe. They're just trying to like put this out everywhere. So the individuals, the astronomers, the scientists that came up with this was Hatfield and Trueblood, and they actually surveyed 2,000 people in the UK, and they said this. Imagine a scenario in which scientists receive, oh, I already read that one to you guys. So they did a whole survey, and they wanted to know what people would think in regards to where these ETs and who these ETs should contact when they come down to Earth. And this is what this group of 2,000 people in the UK said. 39% of them said a team of scientists, right? Because yes, right now, unfortunately, we're in a world where unless the scientist says it's real, it's not, no matter what. As long as you call yourself a scientist, we got to say it's real. By elected representatives, 15% said elected representatives. By a planet-wide referendum, 11% said that it should be all of us. By citizens' assembly of randomly selected adults, 11%. 23%, which is almost a quarter, they didn't even know what to do with that information. So the reason why they're saying that the current world situation that we're currently going under has to do with basically basically first contact and getting us ready for a post-disclosure world is this. They're saying that both situations are scientific in nature, right? So the science community needs to step up, have a significant social, economic, and political impact. Both affect every human on Earth, and both are external threats that put humans on the same side. Let me read that again. We suggest that there are some similarities with the current world crisis and a first contact event. Both situations are scientific in nature. So basically, the science organizations are now having to be implemented even on an unprecedented level, right? And we can have a whole discussion on the agenda behind that. Have a significant social, economic, and political impact definitely going on, and both affect every human on Earth. What's happened now? We've all finally all gone and attracted to this one thing that gets us ready to do another thing like that, where we're all focusing on the same thing, and both affect every human on Earth, and both are external threats. There's the term threats again from the mainstream that put humans on the same side, right? And let me say this as well, like the whole thing about really having contact in a world that wasn't like it is right now, right? The new normal, as they like to say. If there was open contact going on in this world right now, in this post-disclosure world, hold on, let me just pull up this other graphic right here. So all these different things have been implemented now and are ready to happen. So what it looks like is occurring is we're getting ready for something where institutes are now coming down that would have stopped disclosure from occurring. All the people, they're not going to just drop their churches. All these people aren't just going to drop their religions. All these people aren't just going to stop going to the Vatican. They're not going to stop all that, but they would stop it in a world where you cannot do those things anymore. All the habits and the beliefs and the mechanisms that we had have been completely broken down. Everybody's had to do everything differently now. Traditions, rites, rituals, ceremonies that we held so dear, right? That people held so dear. Organized religion that literally made people realize that, like, that has made people think that this is the only way to go and this is what I need to do and these are the rituals I need to say and this is the day I need to go to church, has now stopped. This is the perfect opportunity for open contact, right? And I'm going to say a perfect opportunity for open contact with benevolent ETs that have the betterment of humanity in mind. So it's definitely a good time for that, I would say. Plus, many people are looking for some answers, and lots of people are reflecting on themselves. I used to think that the only way that we're going to create an ascended world would be when people had their basic needs met. So I would often think and wonder, what would it take to have people have their basic needs met so they're not stressing out all the time, they're not anxiety all the time, they're not struggling all the time, not trying to pay the bills all the time, not trying to eat all the time, not trying to get a house over your head all the time, but you had those needs met so that we can actually focus on our relationships, our consciousness, our spirituality, and what else, and taking care of the planet a little more, right? I'm not saying don't work. I'm just saying the level of stress of production in this world is just so much, right? We got to move forward. We got to move forward. So I thought that basic needs would need to be met for us to have a dark night of the soul, right? A dark night of the soul in which we reflect on who we are and all those things I just mentioned. However, what happened instead? Instead of what I was thinking about what would happen, this whole entire world situation, and we went in lockdown in March of last year, right? And what occurred is many people had no choice but to reflect on their lives. Lawyers lost their jobs, right? Politicians, so many different people that were making a lot of money now had to be humbled, and a lot of other people that had no time, they had no more time. I have no time to dedicate it. All of a sudden, I had a lot of time, especially in the first few months, to dedicate to creativity, to dedicate to their family. Some people didn't, right? Some people are just on the grind and even more busier now. But the collective world, a lot of people had that opportunity. So it gave us the ability to reflect on who we are without our jobs and what we do. If you aren't what you do, how many waiters and waitresses are now unemployed? How many restaurants are now completely closed down? How many small businesses and dreams have been squashed, right? So, but what has this given us? There's always light at the end of the tunnel. And the light right now seems to be that it's given us the ability to realize that if we're not what we thought we were, what are we? If we're not what we thought we were, what are we? Right? And with that question in mind, we're having all this UFO disclosure stuff happening right now. And with that realization in mind, we're also having all of this information in regards to the benevolent ETs and being able to have open contact and more and more people coming out on credible sources. So I do feel, and I think I'm going to come to a close pretty soon on this UFO subject and take a look at some of your comments and read them off. But I do feel that it's happening and it's inevitable. And this is from someone who's been creating events since 2008, and I've been saying I've been saying it's going to happen, but I've never said it's happening, even though it's, it's always happening and the vibration's up. But I'm not like, oh my God, it's happening now, we're about to ascend. But right now, there's something hardcore happening, and it is up to us to infuse it and embed consciousness into the disclosure movement, right? It's not about the craft. It's not about the technology. That is going to be something shared with us in the future. And we're going to travel to the depths of space And we will be the ambassadors to other planets explaining how we went through this darkness and how we achieved this consciousness, right? In such a realm of duality. So as all we can do at this moment really is just kind of sit back and observe and see what's going on, but also just keep spreading the positivity in regards to all of this, right? It's truly something beautiful, because what does this mean for us? This is who we are and where do we come from? When we start getting some answers from this and when it starts being released, we're going to realize that these beings that have been interacting with us, a lot of them we have ancestry with and are connected on a deep, deep level. Some of them we've been estranged from for so long. We haven't like connected with them, but they've been observing us. So as our remembrance comes about, as we completely align and understand the lessons of this experience we're collectively going on to this planet, I feel that we're going to be entering this disclosure world. And it's not just about disclosure of UFOs. It's not just about disclosure of extraterrestrials. It's disclosure of our ancient history, a true ancient history that goes into our galactic history. It's disclosure of advanced technology. It's disclosure of technology that exists that can cure all types of illnesses, right? We don't need to be living the life that we have now because we have the tools and technology to live an empowered, peaceful life and to provide that for the whole planet. So my question really is, when is that going to happen? And who's going to create it and who's going to do it is truly us. We're just going to keep doing it. And I feel that the way the world is right now has just given us more of an opportunity to create that reality. Okay, so let's look into some of your questions here. And so we have Karen saying, is there a false alien invasion? Can the benevolent star beings intervene without breaking any cosmic laws? And Ira is also saying, must it be a threat? So what I said throughout everything here, and I'll say it again in case you missed it, is that many people are speaking about fake alien invasion, many credible sources. Some people think that these speakers are not credible because they talk about fake alien invasion. But the reason why they say that is because they know that there was an agenda for it. If it doesn't happen, doesn't make these presenters not credible. It means it didn't happen, right? Because something might have occurred to shift that. I personally feel, right, most of the individuals that are UFO disclosure people, but also into spirituality, they might mention the fake alien thing, but they won't actually say that that's what they think is going to happen. Individuals that really aren't into the spirituality might just say, hey, that's what's going to occur, the fake alien invasion, because of their own research and their own documents that have said that. And I'll get to your question in a second, brother. Thank you for being here. So the fake alien thing, it seems that that's what they're pushing. Just type in UFO disclosure. I I like dare you to pull up the first 20 articles and find the word threat in them. You might find it like twice in each article, right? Because they're all mainstream articles now. So the reason is because the military industrial complex and these agencies, governmental agencies, are all about protection and national security. So the individuals that are about protection and national security really are thinking that this is a threat and we need to protect ourselves, right? They might know more information and realize it's not really a threat. So we're getting a lot of disclosure from these agencies. However, many people have said that if there is a group of beings that have traveled and spent whatever time or energy it takes to get to our planet and observe us, chances are they're not going to be a threat, that they've kind of advanced past that. Just like here's a concept for you all. We impose our concept of God as a reflection of who we are, right? All that personality traits God has is a reflection of who we are as humans and the anger that we experience. It's literally that manifestation. So now evidence can suggest that God is actually an alien and that ancient scriptures that talk about gods are also aliens. So have we put our whole concept on what an ET would be on the same way that we are with each other on the planet? I would say yes, that the reason why it's considered a threat without any evidence, no evidence to suggest it's a threat. This is from the people that say it's a threat. The same people like Tom DeLonge that say that this could be a threat are the same people that say they have no evidence that there's a threat, right? So I would say the evidence suggests there's no threat. The individuals that are connecting with these consciousnesses are also saying there's no threat. And if there is some sort of ET invasion scenario, I don't think they're really ETs. I think it might be some sort of, reverse engineered kind of program that is of Earth origin, right? So I do not think that it's going to occur like that, but I do know that they're pushing it for some sort of reason. Money, what is it? That's why I just got to sit back and observe. And you asked, I wonder what sound frequency can we use to raise vibration? So, firstly, tomorrow we're doing a conference called Sound and Vibration Online Conference. It's going to be all days, 8 hours with multiple sound practitioners. And Kyle's right, 432 hertz is actually a great frequency to use. Really, it's about harmony rather than higher frequencies because the Schumann resonance is a lower frequency, and that also creates harmony. It all depends on the experience that you want to cultivate for yourself. You know, you can do 432 hertz and you can have a very cosmic, ethereal kind of experience. You can use a Schumann resonance and have a very grounded experience. The benefit now living in this world where we have technology like we do, we can actually listen to tracks that have both of those, have that grounding and that ethereal experience. What I would do is everybody is different. You know, there's hundreds, if not there's thousands, if not tens of thousands of videos on YouTube with 432 hertz utilized in it. I would do a search and then search for the first couple of pages and really find what works for me because we all have different frequencies and vibrations and we all find different frequencies work for us or not. I've had someone that with a beautiful sound bowl completely like feel like it's chalks on a board, right? And then I've had other people that have been in my events that think that same frequency is really beautiful and harmonious to them. So you do need to check that out and see what works for you. James says it can hurt you, it can grow and heal because you need to know all the things they say it's BS. I think I do agree with you. I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but yes. We will not be ready for contact until we have become real human. No war, no manipulation, no child human trafficking, no pollution, no corruption. Yeah, and it seems that we have that possibility right now, but we're not really cultivating it and stepping into it. So I feel that certain systems, certain organizations, certain corrupt officials are on their way out right now. And this is based on what I'm observing. And because of that, we're able to implement new systems. Unfortunately, for some, one system needs to collapse before another one can be created, right? So the systems are collapsing right now so that we can create a new one. And it seems that we may have to create our own communities, even in our own cities and own villages, based on consciousness, based on conscious technology, places where we can have open contact with extraterrestrials, interdimensionals, places where we can have centers where we can interact with them as well. And I do not think it's going to happen from these governmental agencies. I think it's going to happen from the experiencer and from people like us. James said, they say it's false, but we are witness to good and light, and we sin, but we understand harmony. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So now, guys, I'm actually losing my voice because I was just like dumping out so much information there. But I want to make sure that I covered everything I want to cover. And then I'm going to end this with a little cool, little awesome presentation on sound frequencies and ancient history just to provide as much cool stuff as possible. Let me get rid of all these monolith ones. And I want to say to who did not join me earlier, I showed two websites. One was a three-letter agency website in which there was all these documents that you can go ahead and search yourself and find out. I'm going to share it again because it's really important. Okay, this is right here. Here's the website. I did post it in the chat room, so you can go and look it there on YouTube. And please do help me out and help other people that are truth seekers. Go down this website, open these up, and take a look at this and see what you find. Right. This one I can't wait to read. Department of State subject: celestial body observed over Antarctica. We did a couple of events on Antarctica. One with Brad Olson, one with Sala, and there was some really amazing information there, especially how it connects to Germany, Nazi Germany. So check out this website. Find as much as you can, and then also go to the universe inside monolith. The universe inside monolith. Look up that video on YouTube, mainstream outlet. I think they have over 1 million views on there. And take a look at all what they said about the monolith, the Utah monolith, and all the places that it showed up, and the hundreds of places that it continues to show up, and just realize that it's a huge anomaly. And here is the Antarctica document that I got up here because I want to look at later. I'm actually going to get all these articles, and I have been, and I'm going to add them to my phone. So whenever I'm with someone that doesn't believe, I can just bust them out and show it to them, you know? Okay. Now, before I get into the sound experience, it's only great and perfect for me to show you our sound healing online conference tomorrow. So this is the sound healing activation conference. It's taking place tomorrow. It's an impromptu event. I only created it like 5 days ago, and now we already have 300 signed up. It's for free or by donation. take place at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. You do get unlimited replay access. You can go to portal2ascension.org, go to online events, and sign up right there. And the whole intention for this is, as I said earlier, I've just did around 5 or 6 full conferences in the last 2 months. So much information was shared that now for myself personally is I need to integrate everything that I experienced and just be in vibration and sound. And I don't want to focus on information for this weekend. I want to focus on experience. So this event is that we're going to go 7 hours. We're going to have many different speakers here. You can see different sound practitioners that will be a part of this. And then at the end of the day, I will actually be doing a 2 hour sound and vibrational presentation on how ancient civilization use sound frequencies. So go ahead, portal2ascension.org, online events, sign up right there, be a part of it, join the 1,000+ people that are going to be tuning in. And if you want to just stay on YouTube and just subscribe and get notifications, let me see if I can do this right. Click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and you'll get updates. We go live almost every single day. A lot of them are pre-recorded. Every now and then is going to be an impromptu kind of just ranting from me like this right here. But go ahead and click that, and you also get the updates on our Sound Healing Conference and where we can go live. But the best thing you can do is always go to portal2ascension.org and sign up for an email list there so you get all the information that you need about what we're doing. All right. So I'm going to take a little breather right now because my throat is kind of hurting for talking so much. Yes. Oh, right now, that's exactly what I was thinking too. A little group meditation. When two or more are gathered, it's always great to meditate. Oh shit, I just made that up. When two or more are gathered, it's always great to meditate. I can make that into a hip hop song. All right, everybody. So I think right now, before I get into the sound experience, we're gonna have a little experience through spoken word, which is the sound. Because in the beginning was the word, and the word was God, and the word was with God, and the word was sound, right? So let's just all take a few deep breaths. Let's take 3 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. And if you want, you can let out a sigh when you let out the air. Ah. One more time, let everything just melt away. All that exists right now is you and this moment. And now we're just going to breathe slowly in through our nostrils and then out through our nostrils. And what I want you to do is experience the universe, the reality as it is. Keep breathing just normally in and out through your nose. Keep your eyes closed if you want, eyes open if you want. That's just your other type of meditation. Whatever you're comfortable doing. Breathe in, breathe out. And if you want, you can just keep your eyes open and observe this experience. I want you to feel the sensation of the air coming in and out of your nose. So as the air goes in your nostrils, just the tip of your nostrils right here, I want you to feel the air going in. And then when you breathe out, feel the air just hitting your nostrils and hitting your upper lip, exiting you. We're tuning into the sensation of our bodies and what it means to be human. And we're not attempting to change our reality. We're not attempting to shift our reality. Right now, in this moment, we're accepting our reality as it is. And if you're able to, in this moment, as you breathe, cultivate gratitude in your heart. Gratitude for the people that you know, the family that you have, whether you have struggle or trouble with your family, just the fact that they exist and you exist here. We don't want, we're not experiencing gratitude in this moment for what we do, for who we are, but for the simple fact that we exist. And then as you breathe, you build up that energy of gratitude and you think of all the individuals that you have so much gratitude for. And then we expand that out to the gratitude that we can share with Earth, with our planet, with our mother, that we walk upon, that we neglect to realize that is supporting us in every single moment. And Earth, some people forget we're not on Earth and away from space. We're in Earth and we're also in space. Earth is our spaceship, it is our vessel that holds us. So as you extend the gratitude towards the Earth, we expand out to our solar system. Now imagine yourself passing past the asteroid belt, past Mars, past the monolith on Phobos, past the ruins and the pyramids on Mars, past Jupiter, past Saturn, past Pluto, all the way outside of our galaxy. And as you can perceive all of our galaxy going to our sun, extend your gratitude out for all of the drama and all of the extraterrestrials and all of the experiences that have occurred in our solar system, and the gratitude for every celestial body that is completely connected to who we are. We say thank you to all the celestial bodies, to all the asteroids, to all the planets, to all the moons, to our sun, for everything that they are. And then all of creation and all of the experiences that have occurred in our solar system. Now we move further back. We move further back, outside of our galaxy, traveling at warp speed. And now we sit in this meditative pose, sitting in space, looking at the galaxy, as gratitude emanates and exponentially vibrates out of our heart into the cosmos, into our galaxy, pouring down as cosmic rays covering all of our galaxies. And we say thanks and we give thanks. Now, if you like to, we're going to do 3 ohms, and then I'm going to get into the sound presentation. So continue breathing just like you were just normally. And in a moment here, we're going to do 3 ohms. So I want you now to take a deep breath in through the nose, and on the exhale, we'll do an ohm. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. One last time, inhale. Om. And as the ohms go out into the cosmos, cover our entire galaxy, make its way to our solar system, goes into our planet, and then travels into the stargate of our sun, we remember and we know that we are sound, we are vibration, we are frequency, and the om that we emanate is us is us emanating the frequency of which we are. Take a deep breath in. Exhale with a sigh. Ah. Another deep breath in through the nose. Deep breath in. Exhale with a sigh. Ah. And one more time, grounding us into this present moment. Inhale. Let it all go. Ah. Okay, and whenever you're ready, open your eyes and then rejoin me. That was definitely needed for myself, actually. So, how's everyone feeling out there? Now I'm going to get into, I'll only have like 10 minutes because my wife's going to be back in 10 minutes with my stepdaughter and we got stuff to do. So, I need to do this quickly before everybody gets home. Okay. And I want to show you this because this is what I'm going to go into full, like, I'm going to do this presentation in its entirety tomorrow. And it's going to be really awesome because it's going to end the sound healing conference. And what I'm going to do here is just choose a certain part of it all. Let's see, what's a cool thing to talk about? Here we go. This is cool right here. Start slideshow. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to be talking about ancient civilizations and the use of sound. And look, you can see all these slides here. I'm going through them real fast. This is me and my wife. We do sound healing all over. And this presentation is going to go into a lot, from the science of sounds to the esoteric wisdom of sound, but then it's going to be really highly concentrating on ancient civilizations and how they utilize sound. So, firstly, it is perfect that I started out by saying in the beginning was the word, because sound and resonance happens to be referenced in almost all creation stories. And actually, all the stories that I've actually had the opportunity to look through, they were actually represented there all the time, even when you don't think it actually is. So, many creation myths actually begin with God speaking or singing the universe into being. In conventional science, what do we have? We have the Big Bang. Some people don't realize that the Big Bang is actually representing a sound, right? Even though it was a high concentration of energy and matter, infinite concentration of it, when we explain the Big Bang, we don't say infinite dense particle. We don't say that. What do we say? We talk about the sound that it made, the Big Bang. The universe was sung into creation. That is a concept by the Egyptians. And in Hinduism, what we just did right now was Oms. So in Hinduism, we definitely have, well, let's go back pre-Hinduism to Vedic information. We have the Oms and we have the sacred seed sounds for each chakra. So frequency is definitely a thing there. And you can see in here, and if you want to take a print screen of this, please do. But here are the sounds for each of the chakra points. So not only do we have Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Ham, and Om, but we also have the vowel sounds, which also represent and connect to each of the chakra points. You can see here, E, A, I, A, O, U, right? And then this is one right here that I really like. This is actually from the Laguna Pueblo Native American Indian myth. And I'm going to break this down for you. We're going to read this quote. But firstly, I'm going to see how far I'm going to take this today. We're going to go, okay, we're going to go all the way to ancient Egypt, guys, okay? And then I'm going to end it. Okay, here's this from the Laguna Pueblo Native American Indian myth. In the center of the universe, she sang. In the midst of the waters, she sang. In the midst of heavens, she sang. In the center, she sang. Her singing made all the worlds of the spirits, the worlds of the people, the worlds of the creatures, the worlds of the gods. In this way, she separated the quarters. Singing, she separated. Upon the face of heaven, she placed her song. Upon the face of water, she placed her song. Thus she placed her song. Thus she placed her will. Thus wove she her design. Thus sang the spider. Thus she thought. This quote gives me chills every time. It's like so profound because this is the everything right here. It's talking about sacred geometry. It's talking about quantum physics. It's talking about fractal nature. It's talking about sound. It's talking about what sound got created. It's talking about the order in which it was all created, right? So let's break it down. In the center of the universe, she sang, Big Bang. In the midst of the waters, she sang, did you know that space is considered the second ocean, which is why the Navy has jurisdiction in space, because it's technically an extension of the ocean? In the midst of heaven, she sang, heaven, space. In the center, she sang, center, Big Bang again. Her singing made all the worlds. The frequency made every single world. The worlds of the spirits, the worlds that you can't even see. The worlds of the people, hello, Earth. The world of the creatures, of the planets and Earth. The world of the gods. Wait a second. Weren't the gods here before anything? Lowercase g, by the way. But the sound came before the gods even existed. In this way, she separated the quarters. Now we got biblical references there, separating the waters, separating the quarters, earth and the heavens, and separate the quarters. Guys, in the way she separated the quarters, this is a reference to dimensions. Frequency created different quarters and dimensions. Singing, she separated. Upon the face of heaven, she placed her song. Upon the face of water, she placed her song. Everything is frequency. Thus placed her song. Thus placed her will. Thus wove her design. Wove. Thus sang the spider. What do spiders create? Spider webs. What are spider webs represented of? Sacred geometry. What is sacred geometry spider webs represented of? Fractals. What was the frequency then the universe doing? Fractaling from the central creation into all of reality, making all of these worlds. So all of what I just outlined, but now we're going deeper. We're talking about sacred geometry and how the spider wove her design through all of creation. Now we have, thus she thought. All of that happened, and boom, the thought. The frequency became a thought, and the thought became everything we now know. Amazing, huh? So we continue to talk about sound and creation stories. The Australian Aborigines speak of 3 sacred songs. The song past sung by the primordial ancestor spirits who walked across their landscape singing its landforms into being. We have the 6 days of creation, the 6 aspects of Om, the 6 solfegial tones, the 6 aspects of all-seeing eye of Horus. And then even in the Krishna Ayurveda, there's a quote in there that says, "In the beginning was Brahman, with whom was the Word, and the Word is Brahman." Doesn't that sound very familiar to you? How is it Vedic / into Hinduism text speaking and having the same quote that's in John 1:1 in the Old Testament, which is, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God." And now this takes me into the Bible, John 1:1. Most of us here probably know about this, but let's break it down a little bit. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So what are we talking about here? The Word. What is the Word? The Word is sound. So what is it saying? In the beginning was the sound, and the sound was with God, and the sound was God. He, who's he? The Word. Who's the Word? Sound. Sound was with God in the beginning, right? Number 3, through him, who's him? Sound. Through sound, all things were made. Without sound, nothing was made that has been made. In him, who are we talking about here? In the beginning was the Word. We're still talking about the Word. In sound was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. Sound equals light. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. So, talking about the light living within the darkness. So it's everywhere. Sound and frequency is everywhere. And just for everybody who's here now, might not be here in a few minutes, we're doing a conference tomorrow. I'm going to go to it again, just a segue into this. Let me get out of this. So we're doing a conference tomorrow, and it would be great if you guys could attend. And this is the one right here, Sound Healing Activation Conference. It's going to be, what's that? We got 6 hours of sound healings. And then also I'm going to do the presentation that you're currently experiencing, but I'm going to do a 2-hour version of it. Right now, I'm just doing a 30-minute drop. So tomorrow, if you want to attend, please do go to our website, online events, portaltoascension.org. Go ahead and click register for free or register by donation and be a part of this event. And if you can't attend live, you can always attend. You can always attend, sign up and actually attend the replay. So Bethany says, so frequency came first, and our thoughts come from frequencies. Lol, frequencies come from where? So that's the whole concept, right? Where did the original sound come from? And if you look into this a little bit more in my presentation on galactic origins, it seems like the sound emanated from a place of no time, no dimension, no beginning, no middle, no end, and it was called the void, a place of nothingness. But even within the nothingness, the paradox is something still exists. Even within nothingness, there is still isness. So I don't know where the exact sound came from, right? But I have researched and figured that it probably came in from the infinite vacuum in the void, and how that sparked it in the beginning, who knows? Maybe there's multiple universes. Maybe these universes collide with each other, and then the frequency and the sound from the impact could actually go into another universe. That's part of string theory, right? That's one of the theories there. Maybe there is some sentient consciousness that exists that cultivated and was the sound. Maybe sound was just here all the time. And the question, like, look at your question, right, Bethany? Frequencies come from where, right? So with the whole concept of where the frequencies come from, you're now talking about linear time. You're talking about constructs of a beginning and an end. So if we can now quantify that there is a realities that exist where time isn't the same or time doesn't exist at all, then there is no where it came from. It just always was. And if that's the case, it's really difficult for the human mind to process that. And even though I'm aware of what I'm telling you, I already know and I accept the fact that the paradox of the fact that everything existed always really doesn't fit within my consciousness because of the amnesia that I'm experiencing on this planet and the limitations that I have on this planet. All right, so let's get back into the presentation. So we just went through John 1:1, and anybody who's just joining me now, I do recommend you looking back at this video for earlier. And if you're on my podcast, quick pause, really quick. Um, I have just launched a Portal to Ascension podcast. We're on Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, iHeartRadio, iRadio. We're on multiple platforms, but go to one of them, Spotify or Pandora or iTunes, which are the biggest ones. Check out Portal to Ascension Radio. And to all the people on the podcast, this is actually going to be on the podcast too. I apologize if you are currently listening to this and you cannot see the videos. Check it out on YouTube, but this will be on the podcast for anybody who wants to download it. And if you want to support us, since I've been deplatformed from FB and IG on a hardcore level, please do join the podcast, because the podcast and the YouTube channel is really the only place that I have right now to put out extra content besides the conferences that we do with all these amazing speakers. So now we're going to get into ancient Egypt and the connection to sound and frequency. This video here, I'm not going to go through because it's like 3 minutes long, but this is at our conference, the Portal to Ascension conference 2 years ago with a good friend, Robert Schock. And in this video, he explains why geology and erosion around the Sphinx dates back the Sphinx to around 13,000 years ago. Conventional wisdom says that the Sphinx was probably built anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 years ago. But now that we are discovering so much more, it has to be at least 13,000 years old. And that's what this video tells you. So I'm just giving you that information there. Now, there's a documentary called The Pyramid Code. It's on Netflix. Robert Schock's in that one as well, and many other amazing people. I do recommend you checking it out. But many people do not know that this is actually how the pyramids on the Giza look if you were able to see through it. And you can see right down here, there's this little shaft. So what has been found out is that this shaft right here actually has a copper rod. The shaft that goes from the pyramid into the ground is actually a copper rod that goes into the ground. Now, there are also aqueducts all underneath the pyramids on the Giza Plateau. What used to happen is 13,000 years ago, the Nile River was actually on the other side of the pyramids, but through geology, it's been moved slowly to where it currently is. Every now and then, on different seasons, the Nile River would actually overflow. What would happen when the Nile River overflowed is the water would go underneath the pyramids into these aqueducts. There was a copper rod underneath these pyramids. The water flooding into the aqueducts will create an electrical current in the copper rod. The copper rod will carry the electrical current up into the pyramid into a chamber where frequencies will come out and sounds will come out. So this has led many researchers to believe, including Brian Forrester, we worked with many times, that these pyramids were power generating devices and not actual tombs. And even maybe the ones that were for tombs were maybe utilize sound frequency and power and energy and electricity in order to maybe tap into other levels of consciousness, or they believe that this could be a gateway for their pharaoh in order to go to these other dimensions after death. So the water would overflow, the water would hit the copper rod would go into pyramid, and the copper rod would change into a sound frequency when it would enter the pyramid, and then sounds would come out of these chambers. There's videos on YouTube, one from Brian Forrester, in which he actually shows that and shows what the sound is like, and it comes out to A equals 432 hertz. That's the frequency that comes out from the thing that I just said. So it looks like these are definitely sound generating devices, but also utilize electricity and could have been power generators. There's a theory that these, when humanity was falling from grace or going into a lower dimension or experiencing a downfall from a great civilization, some say it's Atlantis, that these pyramids were created all over the world in order to utilize the Earth's energy grids to keep us at a certain level of consciousness so that we can maintain this consciousness on this planet. However, they overpowered and exploded, and there's a lot of evidence to show eruptions and explosions in all these pyramids, like huge burn marks across the walls that the pyramids couldn't sustain anymore because the vibration of the planet has shifted so much that we couldn't have these existing anymore. So the pyramid code goes into a lot deeper in regards to that. So here are some possibilities that the Egyptians really used sound for. One is they could have created megalithic structures using sound. In 2600 BC, papyrus states that the Great Pyramid of Giza was created in 20 years, right? 20 years, the Great Pyramid of Giza. The pyramid contains 2.3 million individual blocks of stone, meaning one block would have to be laid every 5 minutes of every hour, 24 hours a day for 20 days to build it. The problem, each block weighs at least 2 tons. That's 1,764,000 pounds of stone being laid every day for 20 years. Could levitation been a way they did it? 2, the Egyptian language was created in a way to emphasize specific frequencies. The original Egyptian language, it was really said in a way where they were emphasizing frequencies almost like they were trying to activate each other. Even vowels were not utilized in ancient Egypt 13 years ago. Vowels were introduced later because they were thought to be ways to open the chakra system. And in order to keep the chakras open in a world where we're falling in dimensions, we had to implement these frequencies of vowel sounds in order to do that. Number 3, sound frequencies generated by aqueducts that turn sound into frequencies. So that's what I just showed you. Guys, I'm losing my voice here. But it's worth it. It's for the cause. So I'll lose my voice for the cause. Egypt sound uses possibilities. So there's more stuff here. I'm not going to read all that. And now we're starting to realize that we can actually levitate rock. And here is a video in which we've done that. This is done actually in Russia. This is the video with Brian Forrester, but I recommend you take a look at it. Red Pyramid of Egypt, acoustic resonance testing. Go ahead and look it up on YouTube. And then we have this right here. The Eye of Horus, which is this right here, happens to be a representation of, if we did dissected our brains and looked at a pineal gland, it's actually the same representation of it. So it looks like when they created the Eye of Horus right here, that it was actually not only a representation of the third eye and also the mystery school, but it had some representation to the pineal gland, which is actually the physical area in our body that is the third eye. So they definitely were onto something and had a lot of sound and frequency embedded in the entire culture. And these, of course, connect to mathematic intervals, and the mathematic intervals connects to music and frequency notes. Okay. And this one is on the humming effect. So, okay, I think I'm going to end it there, everybody. Let's take a look at the chat, see how you guys are doing. Some good comments here. Maybe chocolate would fill the void. There's always a possibility. Vowels slow down words, lower third dimension. We send energy for you to support your voice. Yeah, that's true. All right, everybody. So this is where I'm closing out. Again, remember, reminder that sound frequency event, sound and vibration activation conference is happening tomorrow. Please stay tuned on Portal to Ascension. Go ahead and click the notification bell, click the subscribe button. You'll get updates. We go live all the time. And then also we are, I'm going to go live. So I'm going live tomorrow with a sound frequency conference, which will be on here, right, on the YouTube. And then I'm going to go live with a conscious open mic where we're going to have spoken word, esoteric spoken word, and poetry and music. That's going to be Sunday night at 5 p.m. Pacific. And then 3 days next week, I'm going to do 3 lives just on UFOs, because if you look at this video, and if you weren't here for when I was talking about UFO disclosure and ETs, there's a lot of content, but each of those components can have like its own hour segment. So I really want to go deep into it. But what I'm also going to do is starting now is I'm going to start looking at these documents that have been released and see what I can find and share it with you all. I'm especially curious about the celestial craft that they found above Antarctica. So it's exciting times. Is I'm just like in awe, really. Some of this, even though I've been in this for so long and doing this, I just at one point I really didn't know what was going to happen, what's going to shift, and if we're going to have open contact or if we're going to continue like this world for a little while longer because of so much division and chaos and strife and struggle and that's going on in the planet. And the division, really, like, let's speak on that for a moment. The division that is occurring and the divide and conquer mentality has been utilized by these elitists ever since they first started doing what they're doing in order to put us against each other. So what really needs to occur now is unity consciousness. We need to come together. We like straight up, we have so many more similarities with each other than we have differences, right? Ideologically, politically, they say don't talk about politics, but now that's out of the window now because people can't stop talking about it. But the fact is that even those that are ideologically different from us or you, we do have more in common with them. Just the fact that we live, we eat, we live on this planet. We want food in our mouths. We want shelter over our heads. We want our families to be well. And what does everybody want? I've been asking this question for like 20 years, act like intentionally. What do people really want? Why do people act out? Why are people upset? Why are people angry? Why do people get in fights? Why do couples argue? It's because we want love and to be loved, and we want to be understood. Loved and understood. That's what we all want. It's something that connects us all. And I feel having it's not about tolerating. Tolerating is like, I don't agree with you, but I'll accept you. It's about accepting people for who they are and their level of consciousness. And the more we do that, believe it or not, the more we will probably have similar ideologies and be able to live in peace and harmony on this planet. And the divide and conquer thing has just gone hardcore. The reason why I'm hopeful in a time where we're so divided, it's because I do believe we came down to this planet to experience duality. We came here to experience duality. Duality is separation. Duality, divide and conquer, fits right within duality, right? And the only way we're going to go back to a level of harmony is after we've experienced duality on its utmost level. On its utmost level. We've experienced duality so hardcore, so separate, so individualized right now. There is no way to go but back to the unity consciousness, right? And some may believe that 100%, some may say no, but there's so much evidence to back that that's the reality that we're heading towards now, that when things become so divided, people are craving that connection and that they want to unite. But it all comes down to, we all want to be loved and we all want to be understood, right? And some people might be rebellious and be like, I don't care if anybody understands me, but you get what I'm saying, right? So that's what I want to leave you guys with is let's like just join forces, man. Like with this truly, first of all, yes, there are more of us than them, right? That whole concept, but ultimately it transcends that even. We're all together. And the dumb, whoever we perceive as they're giving us this reality and this experience of duality that we needed to experience to have the contrast so that we can become and learn who we are, right? And it's happening now. The darkness teaches us the beauty of the light. Darkness teaches us the beauty of the light is actually from the Rig Veda. And then I came up with this other phrase that I think explains reality very well, is that the most unconditional thing that the light has ever done is allow the darkness to live in it. The most unconditional thing that the light has ever done is allow the darkness to live in it. The most unconditional thing the light has ever done is allow the darkness to live in it. Well, what does that mean? That means that we're not separate from the oneness. We have that illusion that we're not a part of it. We have that mentality that we're separate and individualized because of this experience that we came down to. But ultimately, all things are vibration, all things are energy, and all dimensions of realities are all part of the same frequency fields. So the darkness that we're perceiving, the darkness, the separation, the chaos, the evil, the devil, the light loves it. It doesn't hate it because it's separate. The light loves it. The reason why is because the light allowed it to live within it, because everything is the light, but it's still there, right? So Sound Healing Activation Conference, guys, tomorrow, please do sign up. And if you're on the podcast, you're hearing this a little later. I'm sorry. So please sign up for the replay or go to our YouTube and watch it. And I'm going to leave you guys now with a spoken word piece. Okay. And we're going to close out for the day. So this one right here, and if you're interested in following my spoken word, check it out on Instagram, MC_resonance, conscious spoken word and hip hop. I'm going to be releasing my music pretty soon, and I'm probably going to end this today with my song again. If you want to see the rest of my presentation, check it out tomorrow. Thank you, everybody, for being on the podcast. Thank you, everybody, for being on the YouTube. Really love you all. And this is called The Journey. The road goes on for generations. The travelers would disperse their light amongst all the willingly incarnated souls. But what of the ones who didn't know? Amnesia of the internal endowment to reserve a place in the fifth dimension for themselves. The ego took control in a better life they shall never know. I welcome you, dark one, into the lap of luxury followed by pain and woes. We all sold our souls to the devil, but the devil exists not. Negative energy we dub as evil creates the demons of whom we are fearful. Take the D from the demon, put it in front of the word evil, and now you have a personified devil. Our thoughts and experiences creates this creature that only exists in the mind. Our desires and wants creates this full feature ego that keeps our lower selves from everything divine. Intellect, love, and a perfect understanding we will have with one another. I welcome you, my brother, my sister, my lover, to become one, to help me become one before reality tears me from duality and back into ether's imagination. You see, I'm the ghost of life's past. Generations have descended to gain these experiences, and I pray the human situation is critical, mind analytical, won't let me forget the fall of angels and demons in the third dimensional world. Is this planet yours? May I hide amongst the lost souls? Hide out for a bit, drink some liquor, smoke some weed, and step outside for a cigarette? Yes, sure, here's a social security card, you may live. Reincarnated, decay to live and give back to the society. When I'm locked in borders, I smolder, but through the ashes comes a horde of abstract thought. Who is not a spirit, a ghost, but is an enlightened individual. Equality minds, elitist political goals, and cynical flow through pain and woes and shamanistic pagan rituals. We will resurrect the Messiah in all of us. It's time to trust our brothers and sisters. Unity of mind, consciousness, awareness on the rise. The yin-yang intertwined, masculine, feminine lovers intertwined. Spit words and the chakra points in my spine. Relentless, but still find inner peace, down the pace of my corrupted mind. Chemtrails, aspartame, fluoride, keep my awareness fire, getting drunk and high. But the conscious question, why am I really here? But now I know it's to help humanity steer into the right direction. For every single one of you, I feel affection. We're in the same situation, so erase the awkward moments. Trying to walk around and get that bonus. Remember, the Arcturians will be one of the group of interdimensional beings through mass landings in the near future will help us those really. So raise your frequency if this is what you want to see. And don't try to break free from the shackles of captivity that we formed in our own mentality, because you and I, we've always been free. Thank you all very much. Love you all. Check out Portal to Ascension Radio on the podcast. And if you're on the podcast, want to watch this video, come check it out on YouTube. Have a beautiful evening, morning, wherever you're on the planet. Hope to see some of you guys tomorrow at the Sound Healing Conference.